Hi, welcome to my review of Baby Driver, directed by one of my favorite filmmakers, and that is Edgar Wright, who is most notably known for directing the Cornetto trilogy, films that include Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. Now, one of the things that stands out about Baby Driver is that this is Edgar Wright's second attempt at reaching out to American audiences, his first attempt being 7 years ago with his most obscure and stylized film in his entire filmography, and that is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. A film that takes influences from old school video games, anime, as well as hipster culture, and among other things. And it was a tough film to sell, to say the very least, and it definitely showed with the below than disappointing box office numbers. And even the people who did see it, excluding the people who were just absolutely obsessed over the film because it does have a cult following, were just kind of perplexed, including myself. I didn't really know what to think about it. It wasn't until really the third time seeing it, which was just last week, to where I actually realized its brilliance. I think it's actually quite a genius movie by Edgar Wright. Though, to get back on track, Baby Driver is a much more accessible film without Edgar Wright completely selling his soul and doing away with what makes him. And I say that even with the absence of the lightning fast dialogue, the whip pans, the crash zooms, that sort of thing. And although this film definitely has its moments, this isn't really a comedy like his past work. It's really more of an action thriller that centers on a young, very talented getaway driver with tinnitus who is able to drown it out by listening to music with earbuds on 24/7. And of course, his name is Baby, who's played by Ansel Elgort, and rather than seeing the movie through his eyes, you really hear it through his ears. Music is very much abundant throughout the entire film, and what's really cool is that when he's listening to his iPod, his environment with its external sounds will actually sync up to the rhythms or the beats of the music. It's a bit like a musical at times, especially when Ansel Elgort is sort of prancing around doing his thing, lip syncing. It's a little showy. I could see that kind of turning some people off initially, but I found it to be more charming than not. Although I will say that when we are first introduced to Baby while he's lip syncing in the car to Bell Bottoms was a little much. Which brings me to my biggest problem with this film, and I mean by biggest, I'm just talking about, it's just the biggest one that I have. It didn't ruin the experience for me. The movie is constantly going like, look how cute and innocent he is. Yeah, he's in with some bad people, but it's not his fault. It's like, no, dude, you're just as bad as they are. You're just too much of a pussy to actually admit it. His hands may not be as dirty as theirs, but he sure as hell helps them get their hands dirty. And there's some criminals even tell him, they're like, look, you ain't no better than us. That said, I definitely love the idea of the character. In fact, he actually reminded me a lot of the Ryan Gosling character from the movie Driver, who also has like this childlike innocence, or at least like this illusion of a childlike innocence, because Driver, if you've seen the movie, he's a total monster. Or at least he has these monstrous tendencies, and he knows it, which is kind of the difference between Driver and Baby. Also, when I compare Baby to Driver, I'm not saying that Baby is a monster, I'm just saying that they both have done shitty things. And the movie even says towards the very end, it's like, this kid, he's a good kid, and it's like, nah, he's a kind-hearted person, but he fucked up. Now, there is a love interest in the film played by Lily James. Her name is Deborah, and both Baby and her just kind of want to get away. They want to get away from their old lives. They want to get out of Atlanta and just be free, which kind of starts the chaos later on in the film. I thought their interactions, I thought their dialogue was well written. I thought they actually had chemistry, but there came a point to where it really asks for you to suspend your disbelief, and I never could quite do that. Granted that the movie doesn't really provide her with a backstory, I did find it hard to believe, no matter how cute or good looking this guy is, there's really no way in hell that a girl with a hint of sanity would actually stay with a guy like this, or even be anywhere around him, especially being somebody who she had just met. Though that's not to say that I didn't care about these two characters, nor is it to say that I didn't care about the other characters in Baby's life, such as the deaf stepfather played by C.J. Jones, which I think is the strongest relationship in the entire film, and I could also throw in Kevin Spacey as well, even though he's not in the film all that much. I did find myself caring for these people, especially when you introduce a character such as Bats, played by Jamie Foxx, who is just completely unhinged. He's really unpredictable, and he really makes for some of the most intense scenes in the entire film. Now, one thing that I have not praised yet is just the overall direction by Edgar Wright. The sound, whether you're talking about the music, whether you're talking about the sounds of engines, the sounds of guns, it's absolutely impeccable. This is an amazing sounding film, and it's a great looking one too, whether you're talking about the camera work or you're talking about the choreography, the stunts, the car stuff that was actually done without a green screen, which is pretty nice. And what I've always really admired about Edgar Wright is his editing style. It's always very creative, like here with the use of music, external sounds, kind of coming into one and creating almost like a remix. This movie may not be the strongest character-based film out there, but it's definitely strong with its action set pieces, with its moments of intensity, with its music set pieces. Edgar Wright continues to impress, and that's why I'm going to give Baby Driver a very strong 4 out of 5. So there you have it. I do think Baby Driver is a great film. You should definitely check it out if you haven't already. In fact, I actually may end up liking it more after I see it a second time, because that tends to be a thing with Edgar Wright films. I truly think that he is one of the most creative minds in the film industry today, and so yeah. As always, I'm Colin Kirkland, and thank you so much for watching.
Was he slow?